Well, good morning, everybody. We survived the night. It was a lot of fun last night. The conditions by the end of the night were outstanding. The stars were starting to come out. I think they were stars. They might have been mosquitoes because they were pretty big too. But we kind of hung out here by the fire pit and just had some relaxing downtime. It was kind of nice after, the rainstorm that we dealt with to have some time to just kind of relax as a group after dinner. So slept well. Joe and I did the stacked hammocks on top of each other. They were a little too close together, so I kept bumping into him through the night, but it wasn't too bad.
It was just like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, it was like Gilligan's Island. So we're going to get in the canoes here in a little while. So we've got to pack up camp, put away all the stuff, load up, and get on the water. Today's going to be our hardest day as far as distance and amount of portages that we have to do. So, we want to get on the road. It's about 8 o'clock, so we've been up for a couple hours and had breakfast and made sure all of our clothes are dried out from yesterday, and we're going to wanted to film a little bit here before we leave this spot. This is a really cool little island spot that we found. It was our third choice, but the other two were already taken when we got over there. In the middle of the rainstorm, we had to kind of do an about face and come west here on Sawbill Lake to this island spot. But it's worked out pretty good. It was a little wet in the spots where you'd like to put tents. So it was better, in my opinion, to do the hammock camping for us. So we brought both a hammock setup and a tent for Joe and I to use. But the hammock seemed to be better because there was a lot of standing water on where the pads were for the tents to go down. So yeah, so we're in good spirits. We've had our coffee, and we're ready to hit the water.
And the kids did awesome.
And the kids, yeah, they did really great for pretty bad conditions to start. But it was something I'm sure they'll remember for the rest of their lives. The footage, I'm interested to see how that turns out on the GoPro of the rainstorm. We could not bail fast enough to keep up with how much it was raining at its peak.
I used a frying pan.
So yeah, we had one crew using a frying pan. The other had busted out their bowls. I was this close to looking for my my steel cup. I had sponges, and those things were just barely, as
useless.
The storm would lighten up, I could kind of get caught back up, and then the next thing would hit, and it would just start filling up with water again. So a lot of fun. So like to do some fishing today, hopefully maybe from the boat, but we've got a lot of portages. I think we've got 5 to do today, although one's only the infamous one rod portage on the way to Cherokee Lake. So I know that's the one Joe's excited to do.
Hopefully today.
So yeah, we'll check back with you guys later.
Leeches. Here's launching after our first night. So you see the Deegans are getting their canoe in. Back. We're not allowed to put anything in the canoe until it is fully in the water because these are Kevlar, so they're like 44 pounds, which is awesome for carrying, but they're also brittle, so we have to watch out for rocks, all sorts of things.
Just get in a rhythm, Joe, like stroke, rest, stroke, rest, stroke, like just to break it up a little bit. That way you don't tire yourself out. We're not trying to set any speed records today.
They just enjoy it.
All right, let's hold our position here, Joe. Can you give me a reverse? I don't want to get on top of them.
All right. Well, we're off on the first portage. Doing a little single carry. The trail is a little bit rocky. And my pack is pretty darn heavy. But the trail's pretty clear. This first one is 80 rods. So that's about, what, 4 football fields? Something like that. So, not terrible. A little mud, little water, some rocks. I think it's more just about the weight. On the later ones, we've got 5 today. The first 2 are pretty flat and about the same distance. It's 80 and 79 rods. And then there's a couple really short ones, a 12 and a 1. And then the big one that's got a little bit of a climb to it, we're told. So that one will be definitely double carry. So we'll leave the packs behind or the canoes behind and make that hike. Some brush. This is a workout. Some strength training going on. Canoes aren't too bad. These are all Kevlar. So I think they were 42 pounds. So, which is a lot by itself, I guess. But it's comfortable with these shoulder pads. But adding the pack on when you're weighted down and you're carrying the community gear too can be a good bit to navigate all this stuff. So we'll do this on 1 or 2 and then cut down, and we'll do 3 trips back and forth type of thing to go back and get our gear. And it's more hiking, but you know, it's a more comfortable hike. Yeah, everything's good.
You have a giant thing in front of your face.
I know, the stool isn't up. It's on the other side, that latch. It goes around the metal bar. Do you see the metal bar on the back of the seat? No. On the back of that seat, there's a little metal latch. And it goes through there and back around the other side, so you open it up. Open up that flap. And that's called a portage lock. Thank you, sir. Are you already done? Awesome. Going back for the food bag? Got. I think the challenge with these is trying to balance them. So my arms are pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing at different intervals, trying to keep it level. Because it just wants to go up, go down. If you move too far, hey, I see the lake in the front, up ahead between the trees. So we're getting there. Beautiful view. Tiny little lake. Well, we're back on the water, just resting, letting everybody else behind us get off the portage and into this little lake. It's not a very big one. It'll probably take us 4 or 5 minutes to get to the other side, and then we've got another 79 rod portage. So it's kind of nice just being on the water. The wind's out of the south, and we're heading north, so it's just at our back. So Joe and I don't have to paddle at all, and we're just drifting in the right direction. So good winds today, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and the weather can't be more perfect. It's got to be 70s by now, maybe mid 70s. I think it might get up to maybe upper 70s or 80, but you've got this breeze out of the back that's got to be, 10 mile an hour wind, something like that. So it's not real strong, but it's just enough that I got off the portage and set my backpack down, and my back, I had my water bladder for part of it. The hose was actually pinned behind me and my backpack, so I just was feeling water drip down my back. So I took that off. It was just soaked, and I was hot, and it just felt awesome just to have the wind hit me and cool me off a little bit. So it's really awesome scenery though. It's just... What do you think, Joe?
I think it's pretty nice.
Nice and easy.
You don't have to do anything. I'd like to try and do it. If that's okay.
You're doing great. Keep it up. We've done 2 80-ish portages so far, portage. And then we've got a 12 rod coming up, and then our one more lake, and then our 180, which will be the toughest of the day, we're told. Little shallow part of the creek. Hiking it through. There's a trail on the side, but if I don't have to carry it, they were saying up ahead it gets from shin deep to over waist deep. That's a little deeper. Got that on video. Woo! Yeah.
We're getting in now.
Can we?
I just did something like that.
There are like rocks in the bottom of my shoes. I don't even know what that is. Thanks, Joe.
What's the point of no return here? Oh, yeah, you got it.
Alrighty. There's an advantage to going last, I guess. Let me get up past that big hole, Joe.
Yeah, just come right here. The big hole's like there.
Yeah, right here. Okay. Go ahead and use 3 points. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go backwards a bit.
We'll just hold, they'll clear in a second. Just hold here. There's rocks right behind us. I gotta actually take mine off because I got muck, and you wouldn't believe,
I'm gonna do that.
in my sandal.
That sounds so smart.
Mr. Fate's prize, but I got the second one, and luckily we avoided it so far.
180 rod line.
Yeah, should be.
We have the 180 line.
180 rods to go until Cherokee Creek.
And then it's just smooth sailing or paddling.
Well, it's a windy day, so we'll have to fight the wind going across that big Cherokee Lake.
Another portage, are you going to do the canoe first?
I don't
Or the
know.
bags?
If there's more room to set the canoes, I'd rather take the packs first.
Yeah.
But the last one was so narrow. Oh, that's a cool little stream coming out the side.
Yeah, let's canoe up it.
Yeah, we can't canoe up that stream? Come on!
I know.
Bummer!
What was that other portage we saw?
I don't know. Maybe it's not. It did. But that means that this is the 12. And then we've got another. And then we've got another.
You know what though?
That was not 60 yards though, was it?
No, but this would be a good place to do launch.
Yeah.
What do you guys do with 12 rods?
Yours! You got us!
That was not 60 yards. I agree with
Nope. That was the one rod.
That might be.
That would suck.
Yeah, what if that is the one rod? No.
The one rod to rule them all. Well, we made it through the few portages. We've got one left in front of us, the big one for the day, and came out on this little lake. So we got one little lake, and then a portage, and then a creek that'll take us down to the big lake, and that's where we'll be camping tonight. So I just thought I would give you a little view. Here's where you can see kind of the lake coming out behind me, and we're stopping to have a little lunch. It's a little late for lunch. It's about 1:30, but we've been making good time, but we got started a little bit late, so it's just time to stop and kind of refuel a little bit, keep everybody's spirits up. The boys been great, having a good time, doing awesome, and couldn't ask for more. And it's been, you know, a little bit of a challenge, but today's our hardest day by far on the trip. So to think we've got one more today, and then we can go set up camp and hopefully find a camp quickly so that we've got a few hours to before cooking dinner. That would be ideal. Gather some firewood, have a nice fire, and then you can see over here where we got the canoes kind of set up and the trail going back that we came on. So yeah, this is a pretty cool little lake. I will stop talking and I'll show you guys a little bit.
Could be singing happy birthday for my doggy right now.
Absolutely perfect day weather-wise. I mean, compared to yesterday, which was the monsoon, this has just been fabulous. We've had some winds coming in, just a breeze, 10-15 mile an hour wind maybe every once in a while, just to keep the bugs away and keep us cool. So make some food, sit in the shade, and then we'll have to paddle across this lake. On the far side's the portage, and then we've got that one 180, so our hardest of the day, and then we're done. So check back later.
Where are you going?
So we're on the third leg of the 180 portage, 180 rod portage. We took all the packs over first and came back and got the 2 food bags and the 3 canoes. So now we're heading back. That's about what? I think we were guessing it was like 9 football fields long. And on this one there's 3 ridges. So you start with a climb, back down to the creek, back up to a climb, back down to the next creek, which I'm about to start that descent. And then you have one more ridge, and and back down to the creek that we're looking for at the end. So here goes the descent. Some of this is a little dicey because it's like slippery rock and it's angled, and there's no flat spot to put your feet until you get down here towards the bottom. So these are definitely hard. This is by far the hardest one of the day, but it's really been neat to experience it. Today we've had an 80, an 80, a 12, and now this one, 180 to finish. We got to go through the creek out to the main lake, Cherokee Lake, and then find a campsite so we can start thinking about dinner. So that sounds awesome, getting off this portage, getting back in the canoe and going down part of the creek. It's just like a lazy river kind of thing. Man, there are some just jagged rocks on some of these trails that if you fall, you're gonna do some damage if you hit one of those. You know, I just hope and pray that we all make it through these kind of trails without much more than a few scrapes. You know, the brush is a little tight on a couple sections, but it's not too bad. I just gotta be careful when I put this thing down. I don't drop it. These shoulder things, they're pretty padded, but I still find they dig in a little more than I'd like.
Okay, here we are. After doing the 180 3 times, we got the first canoe stuck on a rock. And it's all downstream from here.
For the rest of the day, at least.
We saw a...
You guys want to go next?
Well,
Nah.
your boat's ready. So, John, anything to say?
That was the most challenging one we've done this trip.
Well, not only that, but that's the first time John got to carry the food pack. The other two boys took the other food pack.
So Joe, how do you feel after that 180 rod portage?
I'm tired and I think I hit a rock wrong, or I stepped on it wrong.
What does that mean? You stepped
Like I
on...
rolled my ankle in the process
Oh.
and I cut my foot. So that works perfectly together.
Yep.
I feel pretty tired. So I'm
Yeah.
ready to see our campsite.
Yeah. This should be a nice, easy
Little creek.
section. Our trail mix has melted.
No, the trail mix. Let's just put it in the mini fridge we totally brought.
Yeah, that feels like I've been carrying a mini fridge.
Feels like you've been carrying 3. Okay, say we've been carrying.
Yep, we have.
Very, very, very calm. I love this area. You just look at the water, Dad. You can see all the reddish.
Yeah, nightlife.
Kind of interesting.
This is a moose area, I was told. It's not uncommon that you will see them.
We have found a pesky deep beaver dam, or however you want to word it. So they have to stop. John, stop. As you see, the water depth can be deceptive.
All right, we think we're towards the end of our day 2 trek. It is 5:04, and I believe the island right in front of us here on Cherokee Lake, which is enormous, is directly in front of us, a little bit to the right. We're going to kind of go straight ahead and let the wind push us to our landing. So that's the only thing that I see that looks like a campsite. So until we get closer to know for sure, that's our best guess, and that's what we're going to head to. But according to the map, that seems to be the island shape, and it's about where it needs to be, we think. So
And hopefully we're right.
yeah, because I think we're all tired and hungry and ready to get out of our wet shoes and make some dinner and a campfire. That sounds awesome. So we'll check in with you guys later. Camp. One of the first things that we did is get a water bag hung. So just got a Sawyer squeeze, and then I bought 2 bags from CNOC, and this one, which I didn't know existed, which is a cleaning coupling for Sawyer. So ordered that from Amazon, and it came, and the other 2, and you can just set it up as a very easy gravity filter system. So it's 2 liters, so it'll pour 2 liters into there. We'll be good to go, and then we can use that for cooking or water bottles or whatever for today, tomorrow. But I mean, it's amazing how fast it works. I mean, we just filled this up a couple minutes ago, and if you watch, you can slowly see that line just going down, down, down. So 4 or 5 minutes, maybe tops, and you've got 2 liters of purified water. Some have complained that the seals on the top and the bottom joint, leak water, so you have to be mindful of that when you're attaching everything. You really want to not bend them so that they stay as rigid as possible. But I've had no problems and used this now a few times, and it's been stellar. So yeah, that's our little water filtration system, and then we'll fill our water bottles and water bladders with that. So we've still got a little bit left, right, Joe? It's working pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got our tent. This is our little camping section set up, and we've still got a little bit of work to do, but we were able to get the tent up at least, and then get some water filtration going, and then we're going to look at getting some firewood and getting the stoves going and dinner. Yes, sir?
Oh, and we're also drying out our sleeping bags right now because I got a little damp from the canoe.
Yep, just a little bit, not bad, and they were in a dry bag, so but it's just enough that it's just a tiny bit damp. So and we had to dry out a tarp that we put away this morning that was still wet from the rain. And then we've got to get out everything else, put our sleep system inside the tent. We've got our air mattresses inside the bags. So we just did a stuffed sack that had sleeping bag, pillow, air mattress, and threw it in there. And then Joey's been carrying in his pack
all the hammock systems. So tree straps, tarps, and the hammock and bug nets. So that if we want to do a tent, we can do the tent. But like last night, we just did a stacked hammock setup, and that was really cool. So we are on the island here at Cherokee Lake. One of the islands. There are literally probably dozens. We've passed a bunch of them on the way in, but kind of walk out and show you what our front porch looks like. So this is our home for the next 2 days. We're pretty excited. So we came in around here. You go around that point and back, and that'll get you kind of the south entrance from Cherokee Creek, which we were on. So we came up through the lake and down through here across the shoreline and down right to this rocky edge, and then unloaded the canoes right here, and then carried them up the shore back into the trees. And we've got a couple of our teammates also. They're doing some gravity filter, so they're using a gallon bag, so they're able to get quite a bit. But same kind of setup. It looks like a Sawyer Mini. And tube, and that's been great. So we've been able to get that stuff going. Awesome. So as you walk back in from the shore, there's a nice big opened area, which is our fire ring and seating. And we've got one of our teams is putting their tents up over on that path. You know, we've got our little section over here. And then there's another one back in the woods that you might be able to see back in there. And then we just have our canoes in the trees ready for tomorrow, and all the gear stacked out here until we're ready to unpack everything and
Get ready to cook.
get ready to cook. But once we get set up, it's going to be nice because we don't have to take it down tomorrow. So we're going to stay here an extra day, just fish, hang out, maybe put the hammocks up, take some naps, just recoup. Today was a pretty brutal day, and we knew it would be. It was scheduled to be our hardest day. So, you know, one of the creature comforts, I got out of the boat and took my sandals off that I've been, trekking through mud and, on the portages and all that stuff, and they've just been soaked all day. So, went down to the shore, took my sandals off, rinsed my sandals out, dried my feet, and put on some sneakers and socks. And it's just amazing just to have dry feet and be comfortable and have some sneakers that you can just walk around camp. So there's a couple trails. I mean, this is a pretty decent sized island. So there's a lot to explore here. Now it's a little windy today. The wind's probably been going at in excess of 20 miles an hour here at the end of the day. So, it's whipping up the waves quite a bit from the west side across to the east. So it's kind of tough being out there in the canoe, especially with the boys, where you're fighting the wind and the waves a little bit. So we probably won't do any fishing tonight. Hoping that we have some good weather tomorrow, and I'd love to see some calm water so that we can get out on our day off and just do some fishing and enjoy the lake. So this side is definitely the windier side.
Pat Morita, Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, looking out over the ocean. I think they sit there like this.
What's that Ziploc bag for? That was your bag or your mic? Right here? Right here. Don't blow away.
Stopping for a snack.
Comment down below. Is that a muskrat or a beaver?
It's hard to tell until you see the tail, but it's pretty big for a muskrat. What do you think?
I think it's a beaver. Did you see that? I think that was a beaver. I'm not positive.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if there's like
Watch it. I only got a long stick. See if you can pick it up.
An eel?
a... Yeah. Little guy, maybe 4 or 5 inches
Oh,
long.
he's right here.
Show him.
Right here. Can I grab it?
No, it's probably an electric eel.
Yep. Well, I want to get more water going because look at the way right here.
Can you go help him with that?
What you chewing on there, buddy?
You got dry shoes, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold it.
Oh, you're just taking the grass off and eating it, huh? Yeah, it's like celery for him, but it's like speed eating.